This is Friday Night Lights at the Ballpark of Rosemont. Hi, everybody. I am Corey Stolzenbach with my partner, Christopher Simon. And Christopher, tonight is the Larkin Royals hosting the Hampshire Whippers at the Ballpark in Rosemont. And this is the second game of the season for Larkin and the first game of the season for Hampshire. And Chris, Larkin is really looking to bounce back. They had an ugly loss to Belvedere North 2 nights ago. They lost 14-1 on March 16th. They're going to try and get that taste out of their mouth.
Absolutely. It's a cloudy, windy day here at the ballpark, and coming off a game like that, with the season officially starting for the IHSA at the end of February, it's these cold, tough games that these teams have to get through early on in the season, looking for a big bounce back there.
And not just that, not only did they lose 14-1, but they were only one hit. Alexa Urbana, who is playing first base tonight, she drove in Sam Wall for the only hit and only run of the game. So not a very good offensive performance. Carissa Williams was a losing pitcher. Coach Annie Vogt said in the Daily Herald that we have a new pitching staff that is working extremely hard, and tonight Hannah Gross is going to be the starter for them.
Well, Coach Vogt also said, that she's in the mid-process of a huge rebuild at that program there at Larkin. It's been several years of down softball for that team, and Coach Vogt just trying to, several years now trying to rebuild that program that used to be one of the prominent ones.
And how about this, though? They lost 10 of their first 11 games last year, and so Vogt is hoping to improve on that. They think they got to play better defense and hopefully get into a rhythm for them. But strangely enough, though, shows you how poetic baseball can be, and I guess softball is no different. They lost 10 of their first 11 games, but their first win was 19-0 against East Aurora.
Right, how about that? You start up the season so well, lose those next 10 of 11, but then end the season with a 5-game win streak. So hopefully, you carry that momentum from the previous season into this season, trying to, find out what clicks, what works.
And they are facing the Hampshire Whippers tonight, who are the road team, the designated road team here at Rosemont. And Christopher, not the best 2015 for them either. They were 13-18, only 6-6 in the Fox Valley Conference.
Another important show there, and it's the first year for head coach Kelly Wazalewski, who had been head coach last year, comes in now to Hampshire for the first year and ascends to the head coaching role under her old with her old head coach, now her assistant. Again, as she said, as we spoke to her before the game, just trying to figure out what works, what the chemistry of this team, what the culture of this team is. What can she put on the field? What can she adjust to get some more wins for this team?
Wazlewski used to be an assistant at Burlington Central. That is Cray Allen that she was an assistant under. She told me that they have similar philosophies. She says there's a new dynamic, different cultures. We're going from Burlington Central to Hampshire. They say that they got to work on their swings. She thinks that defense wins championships, offense wins games. So tonight is a test for her. And there are a lot of returning players on this squad, and some of them are freshmen. There's Sarah Bowen and Morgan Hafling. Both of them are in the starting lineup tonight. And not to mention, though, there's also Peyton DeChant, and she's not starting, but how about this? She's a Loyola recruit. She had 404 with 3 home runs and 26 RBIs last year. Those are very impressive numbers, and she's only a junior.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at numbers like that just blowing off the paper. And she said to us how Loyola really just called to her, that Loyola, with their great softball program, with their call to academics as well, something that really attracted to her. So, again, an early recruit, only a junior, of course, but looking forward to her future. And with numbers like that, of course, she'll excel anywhere she goes.
And how about this? Jasmine Lopez is starting for Hampshire tonight, but that's not all. She's also leading off for them, not something that you see every day.
Not at all, but in the game of softball, it's kind of that nuance of the game where the pitcher of the softball team really has that edge, really has a lot of athletic ability, and we're going to see that tonight from Jasmine Lopez as she, as you mentioned, leads off and captains the mound tonight.
And what Wazlewski told me is that she's willing to try different things and trying to work on swings, and she wants to work on some different things and try out some new stuff to adjust before they begin conference play. Okay, so we are almost ready to take the field. Jasmine Lopez, as mentioned, will lead off tonight for Hampshire. She is the pitcher. Morgan Hafling is playing in right field. She bats second. Allie Snyder, the shortstop, batting third. Cleanup is Melissa Esparza. She is the third baseman. Then there is Lauren Egger playing first base. She will bat next. Then is Ellie Lapie behind the plate. Renee Malecki in left field. Jocelyn Nelson at second base. And finally, Sarah Bowen in center field. Now let's look at the lineups for Larkin. Sam Wall will be leading off. She's in center field. Bella Aguinagua bats second and is playing second. Haley Boney, who was an all-conference selection last year, at shortstop, she's batting third. Hitting cleanup, Alexa Urbanik is first base. Sophie Young behind the plate, she's batting fifth. Then batting sixth is Carissa Williams, third base. Megan Shuey is in left field, she is batting seventh. Sierra Alonso is in right field. She is batting eighth. And finally, batting ninth is the pitcher, Hannah Gross. So we are almost set to begin this game for the ballpark at Rosemont. Looks like Hampshire is wearing their dark purple uniforms tonight with purple pants. Meanwhile, Larkin is wearing some royal blue jerseys. They are blue and gray. So what are you expecting tonight in this game, the first of two games of this doubleheader on Friday Night Lights, Christopher?
Well, I think what both coaches really emphasized there in the pre-show as in the pregame interviews was defense, right? It's a windy day, the wind's blowing in straight in from center, cloudy overhead, frigid cold. There's a lot of proneness to error here, and especially with teams being their first and second games respectively, it might be a bit sloppy out there. So I'm sure the coaches are looking for an effort from the girls to get out there, play with effort, and play with as much precision as possible in these cold conditions.
It is 5:32 exactly. Teams have not still taken the field, though I can imagine they'll be changing anytime soon. We are going to be taking a quick break. You're listening to Friday Night Lights here at the Ballpark at Rosemont. It's taking a while. This is pretty awkward.
Staying as warm as possible. I
don't know if we're doing the right thing or wrong thing by being off the air right now. Let's just for a few seconds. Just for a few seconds, turn it up, please, if you don't mind. Just come back for a few seconds. And yes, folks, we do apologize. What you are seeing on your screen is correct. We do not know the reason why the teams have not taken the field just yet. Both umpires are here to the best of my knowledge. We'll keep you informed as we get set for the game to start. This is pretty uncomfortable right now. Looks like the umpires are taking the field now. The ballpark in Rosemont, and slowly marching out is Larkin as well as Hampshire. The coaches Annie Vogt and Kelly Wasilewski are getting set to exchange lineups, so we are going to play ball here, Christopher. I'm not sure exactly what the delay was, but the important thing is we are about to start and kick off some Friday night lights here at the ballpark in Rosemont.
Yeah, I'm not absolutely sure what the problem was there, but, as we keep harping on, the weather is definitely a factor. The longer these teams sit, the longer and colder their bodies will get after their long warm-ups. So excited to see that the action will be beginning. Umpires strapping on their warm gear, their gloves, as the coaches and captains exchange lineup cards down here.
There's precisely a good dozen people, maybe a little more here in attendance. It is chilly. Nobody is wearing anything except their coats, so everybody is dressed from head to toe. See a bunch of hoods, a bunch of hats. It's Friday, March 18, 2016. Certainly a lot of winds. It is rather gloomy out. Well, I'm not so sure if it's gloomy, but definitely cloudy. The sun is not out. They're playing a full slate of grass right here. There is no turf, and so the diamond getting set. The captains are still exchanging. They're still talking, understanding the rules, and we should be set here in a few minutes. Seats are red, and the bleachers are silver. So there is a nice combination, if you like, for seats or bleachers, whichever your preference. Some fans are right behind home plate between the dugouts.
Mostly parents in attendance, of course, to see their girls out to play. Definitely in support of them. Maybe not the best day to come out and visit a Friday Night Lights game, but you know, the fans and the loved ones are definitely here to support him for sure.
And we certainly appreciate their support. I'm sure the players do too. So we are getting set as the coaches walk back to the dugout to talk, and they just shook hands with one another. So we should be getting set any minute now, and I think there's going to be introductions and national anthem, and we shall be back.
And now the starters, batting first and playing center field, number 5, Sam Wall. Batting second and playing left field, number 7, Bella Aguanaca. Batting third and playing shortstop, number 11, Haley Boone. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 16, Alexa Irving. Batting fifth and catching, number 8, Sophie Young. Batting sixth and playing third base, number 12, Carissa Williams. Batting seventh and playing left field, number 21, Megan Chewy. Batting eighth and playing right field, number 3, Kiara Alonzo. Batting ninth and pitching, number 13, Hannah Bruce. Larkin is coached by Ann Boot. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that all fans please rise and wave your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
The anthem has been played. The lineups have been introduced. Welcome back, everybody, to Friday Night Lights. Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon, getting ready for some Friday Night Lights at the ballpark at Rosemont and Larkin. They are wearing blue and gray uniforms with gray pants and high blue socks. Larkin, meanwhile, is pretty much dressed in purple and black. They are wearing dark purple shirts with some black pants. And I think they are also... correct me if I'm wrong. I think they might be also wearing purple socks. We shall see. Yes, indeed, they are wearing high purple socks to just slightly below their kneecaps. And Hannah Gross is taking the mound. She is a junior. She's wearing short sleeves, not wearing long sleeves at all. And the same thing goes for her battery mate, Sophie Young. And so what we can expect tonight, Christopher, is Jasmine Lopez and Hannah Gross. Gross being a junior, I think Jasmine is a sophomore, is that both of them say they rely on their fastball as their go-to pitch, and Jasmine Lopez saying that she clocked in about 56. Hannah Gross, not sure, but expect to see a lot of fastballs tonight from both pitchers. Yeah, especially, again, as the early season goes on. Still time to develop the arms to get used to the repertoire that they have on the mound. Fastball usually being the go-to pitch, especially in fast-pitch softball. More control on it, control the movement better. And again, it will be tough to hit today because swinging in a metal bat in the cold conditions will make it a little tougher on hitters. The infielders are tossing around, making sure they're warming up. We have an umpire in right field and an umpire behind the plates who are getting set. Gross is a right-handed starter, and she is still warming up by throwing to Young. Looks like Cray Allen is talking to his starter, Jasmine Lopez, tonight in the on-deck circle for some final pointers.
Tonight's game is sponsored by Atletico. Atletico has over 330 locations that offer complimentary injury screenings. For more information, visit... And despite the cloudiness, a little bit of blue skies popping up overhead. The other factor here is, again, at the beautiful ballpark at Rosemont, is the near proximity to O'Hare Airport. So planes going overhead very, very frequently. So we'll see if that affects any of the play, especially from the outfielders, having to look up and maybe see an airplane overhead is trying to track the ball at the same time. Not to mention, from our vantage point, there is also rush hour traffic. It is 5:47 right now, so a copious amount of cars are up. And enough talking. Let's get set for some Friday Night Lights softball. It is Hampshire versus Larkin. The Whippers are getting set, and outside the batter's box just now walking in is Jasmine Lopez. She bats from the right side, and she is also the pitcher tonight, and she is set to face her counterpart right from the get-go. So we are getting ready. The corner infielders are playing in. That is Alexa Urbanik and Carissa Williams. And the first one, a pitch, is in the dirt inside. Bounces for ball one. Hampshire looking to go 1-0. Larkin 1-1. Here's the delivery now from Gross again. That is inside. And with a sliding stop right there is Sophie Young, the catcher. 2 balls, no strikes from Gross. Infielder still in, and here's a delivery, and a nice shot into right center field. Oh, and it gets by the center fielder, Sam Wall, and going all the way from first to third for a stand-up triple is Jasmine Lopez. And now, here we go. She's going to play the plate, and she is safe. She is safe, so just like that, right off the board, ladies and gentlemen, Jasmine Lopez lined a single into right center field, and then Sam Wall, the center fielder, she had misplayed it, misjudged it, went by her. Lopez, I think that it was a double, and then she decided to keep on going to third, and now it is ball one to Morgan Hafling. So not a very good start at all for Larkin. And here is the second pitch, and a swing and a miss high up for 1 ball and 1 strike, I believe. Excuse me, I think it was 0-2. It was the delivery from Gross, and trying to show bunt, and called strike 3. So Hafling goes down on strikes. A lot of activity early on. And going back to that previous play, Christopher, that was not supposed to be a run scoring right off the bat, but a misjudge right there in center field, and that's why it's 1-0 Hampshire.
You're absolutely right. You're talking about all the action so far as Gross had trouble controlling her pitches early on, and we see why Jasmine Lopez is leading off for Hampshire because a great, nice, solid single into center field. Unfortunately, the center fielder misplayed it, squirted through her legs, and all the way to the fence. Jasmine with good speed around the bases and able to score.
This is Allie Snyder, the shortstop. She's batting third from the right-hand side. It is 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. Here is Gross delivering underhand again, and that is down and out for 2-1. On deck now is Melissa Esparza. She's the third baseman. Gross gets sets to deliver, and this one is hammered down the left field line, pointing foul, and yes, indeed it is. That went over a left field wall. It towered foul. Good piece of wood on there from Allie Snyder, but it is 2-2 now.
A little excited there at the plate. A little too much bad speed out in front of that slower pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the first, Corey Stolzenbach and Christopher Simon, 1-0 Whippers. And here is Gross again, delivering high up the zone, full count. So now we shall see 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here is the pitch, the windup, and that is out and away. So it is going to be a base on balls with 1 out to Snyder. Here is Melissa Esparza. That pitch was a bit up and away from the zone. So Esparza is also batting right. Here is Gross with delivery, and teasing a run was Snyder, but she got back just in time for strike 1 to Esparza. Gross gets sets and delivers. That is high up and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. It looked like Snyder was trying to test it. She did have a bit of a lead at first base, thinking about possibly going, but no. Corner infielders are in once again. And that is fouled back behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Snyder, to Esparza.
And Hannah Gross still is struggling to find the strike zone thus far in this first inning.
Yes, indeed, but 1 more strike, and that is fouled back into the bleachers behind the visiting dugout on the right side. So we will go once again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, but the only out she's gotten so far was Morgan Hafling, and that was a strikeout. So here is Gross, and that is inside, up and inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Snyder has no lead at first base. Here is Gross once again with a delivery underhand and just off the plate. Full count now. Could have gone either way at last pitch. Gross will be dealing to Esparza. She gets sets and fires underhand. That is inside, down and in once again. So the second consecutive base on balls. Here is Lauren Egger.
And that pitch almost hit Esparza there. Very, very wild first inning for Gross. And again, you can see her blowing into her hands, trying to keep warm. Just rough conditions out there for a fast pitch right now.
Here is Gross to Egger. That is inside, but a strike nonetheless. No balls and 1 strike. They're getting set. Gross to Egger, and Egger fouls this one behind home plate to the right side. No balls, 2 strikes. Last year, Egger batted .347 with 21 RBIs. She's looking to do some major damage here. Runners on first and second with 1 out. Let's see what Gross does as she delivers to Egger. And Egger hits this one into left field for a base hit. So a shallow bloop. Coming around to score is Snyder. So it is 2-0 now for the Whippers. What happened there was Egger lined a soft one into shallow left field, and then coming around from second base to score was Allie Snyder. Melissa Esparza goes to third, and Egger is at second base. It is now 2-0 Whippers.
And just a nice choke up of the bat there, just looped that into left field. Nice hit, nice base running, and the Whippers are just rolling right now.
Ellie Lapie is batting next. She is right-handed hitting. She's in the box as 1 ball and no strikes to her. Still 1 out. Here is Gross to Lapie, and she was tempted, but it looks like that, yes, it is a strike. It looked like that may have been a check swing or that she may have gone around, not sure. Gross to Lapie, and that gets off the mitt of Sophie Young, so she had to run and go get it. Gross under pitch to Young, that was deflected off her glove. She had to take a few steps to her left to make sure none of the runners went. And we'll go again, 2 balls and a strike.
And a good stop there by Young for sure, because again, there's a runner at third, and you want to kind of stop the bleeding here as much as you can if you're Larkin.
That is off the plate and away, so it is 3 balls and 1 strike to Lapie. She is catching tonight. Batting from the right-hand slot, and Gross to Lapie, and that is high up, so bases loaded, and cannot be the start that Hannah Gross was envisioning. I know that one run, the first run, was not her fault, but now 3 base on balls, 1 out in this inning. She's got to induce a double play or something to make sure it's not even major damage even more. And here's Gross underhanded to Renee Malecki.
Virtually all the infield is in, aside from second baseman over there. And, yeah, as you mentioned, now would be a good time for the double play.
And Gross again, and that is inside. And a block stop by Young to make it 2 balls and no strikes. And the outfielders are relatively in as well. The right fielder, Sierra Alonso, is a little bit more back than her left field and center field counterparts, as Gross once again cannot hit the strike zone. So that is up and away, 3 balls and no strikes. Very dangerous pitch here, potentially. Could walk in another run and could be her 4th base on ball and only the top of the first inning. And that is a strike route down the middle, so 3 balls and a strike. She's only pitched a third of an inning so far, and this could get really ugly potentially for Hannah Gross. We shall see as she gets set to deliver and line this one towards the dugout is Malecki. So that is full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So things change dramatically from 3-0 to 3-2, a full count. So she can get a strikeout right here for the second out. And we shall see a delivery right here. And this is lined right to Gross, who throws to Young. So score that as a 1-2 assist put out. So thrown out at the plate is Esparza, and reaching by a fielder's choice is Malecki. Jocelyn Nelson is going to step in now. So Gross does get the out, but not out of the inning, but there is no run score just now. And here is a chopper right here. This is going to be a 4-3 from Bella Aguinagua to Alexa Urbanik to be the inning ending. So it is Hampshire 2, Larkin coming up in the bottom of the first, heading up. So Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon coming right back on Friday Night Lights.
Transnational is the official sponsor of the Scholar Athlete of the Year Award. For more information on the Scholar Athlete of the Year Award and Transnational overall, visit ChicagoBandits.com. Nominate a student athlete today.
Back here, Friday Night Lights, Ballpark at Rosemont. Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon. Hampshire is up 2-0 on Larkin right now. bottom of the first. And Jasmine Lopez, she helped her own cause with a double on the run score to lead off the game. She is facing Sam Wall, who misjudged her hit to right center field. So we shall see as Wall steps in right now. She is batting from the right-handed spot. And Christopher, 2-0 is not a difficult deficit to overcome, but that first inning could have been a lot uglier for the Royals potentially.
You're absolutely right, Corey. It was a very, very good performance there at the end of the inning by Hannah Gross to get a fielder's choice and another force out from second to first because it very, very well could have turned very ugly, especially with that 3-0 count that she had late there in that inning. An opportunity there to be very aggressive and get some runs turned into a 3-2 count very quickly and able to get the out and avoid further damage. So let's see if Larkin can turn the tables and try to get some momentum now on their side after a solid defensive ending to that first half of the first inning.
Wall showing bunts, that foul behind the plate, no balls and 1 strikes to the senior. And again, showing bunts, same strategy. Lopez picks up and fires, and that is going to be safe. Looks like potentially an error. Playing third base is Lauren Egger. What happened was that Lopez fired to Egger. She had to come off the bag. She tried to field it down low with her glove, but could not catch it. As a result, Wall is on first base. And now here is Bella Aguinagua, the second baseman. Also batting righty. Corner infielders are in, and Aguinagua again showing bunt, going for a small ball, and that is over the head of Eggers. So Lopez throws up very high, many feet above Eggers' head. She tried to glove it, but I don't think she even came close. And now all of a sudden runs to the corners and shows you how quickly the tide can change in a softball game. And now all of a sudden what you have here is Alexa Urbanek. And, that's Haley Boney, not Alexa Urbanek. Aguinagua is at first base. Wall is at third. So runners in the corners, no outs. So we're getting some sloppy play here so far. 2 errors for Hampshire and 1 for Larkin. And going is Aguinagua, and she's going to be thrown out by a mile. So Aguinagua, that is a 0-1 count to Boney. Aguinagua was running from first base trying to steal second. She did not slide. She was out by a country mile. So 0-1 to Boney. Still on third base is Wall. Lopez digging into Boney, and that is high and up. 1-1. Boney was an all-conference selection last year in the Upstate 8 River Conference. Lopez delivers to Boney, and that is down and out. 2 balls, 1 strike. On deck is Alexa Urbanek.
And you mentioned Haley Boney with that all-conference performance last year. That again, staggering numbers. Hit .465, 7 doubles and 3 triples, 4 home runs with 22 RBIs. So again, here's a foul out or a foul pop to left field. Trying to get something going again with a runner on third base and the opportunity to close this 2-0 lead to 2-0 to 1. Again, it'd be tough to hit a home run today with the wind blowing straight in from center field. But Boney would be the one on this Larkin team to have the power to do that.
Yeah, Boney hit a foul just now that blooped into foul territory in left field. Renee Malecki was trying to get over, but she didn't come in fast enough. And here is the full count pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Boney. That was up and away. And on deck, as mentioned, is Urbanek. Runner at third base, that's Wall. Here is Lopez, and borderline pitch just off the plate, a little up. So taking first base now on a base on ball is Boney. And so now here is Alexa Urbanek, who, as mentioned earlier, batting from the right-hand side, and that loss to Belvedere North. She was the only one who got a hit 2 days ago.
Very close pitch on that last ball 4 for the walk. Very, very up in the air call.
So now here's Lopez delivering, and that is going to be a strike. Yes, it was a borderline pitch. We're not sure for a second. It was a late call there by the umpire. Could have gone either way, but looks like a borderline strike may have caught the plate. No balls and 1 strike. That was a little outside. And now a swing and a miss. And now Wall is going to cross She's going across home plate, and they had got Boney in a rundown. So how about this? It was a swing and a miss from Urbanic. Then Boney tried to steal second base, and all the while she was caught in a rundown from Hampshire, and that was the perfect opportunity for Wall to try and score. And as a result, now Boney's at second base, and it's now 2-1 Hampshire. Lopez to Urbanic. Down low, 1-2. So a lot of excitement going on so far, Christopher.
Exactly. I was just going to mention what a wild start we've had in this first inning alone. Several errors, some good base running, and some poor defense on the base throwers to get those outs.
Lopez delivers, and that is a fat swing and a miss way outside by Urbanic, nowhere near the strike zone. So it is now 2 outs. And stepping in now is Sophie Young, the catcher. 3 errors for Hampshire, 1 for Larkin. Larkin has no hits, but they do have 1 run. And Lopez tosses to Young, and that is off the plate. But I'll rule the strike, though. No balls, 1 strike the count. Still at second base is Boney. Here's the delivery from Lopez. That is a bit up and out, so 1 ball and 1 strike. We've seen some borderline pitches tonight. Some of them strikes, some of them balls.
Quite inconsistent, I'd say, so far.
Yes. And smacking this one is Young, taking many steps to her left and hustling and backtracking in center field. That is Sarah Bowen, the freshman. So Jasmine Lopez does get out of it. At the end of 1, Hampshire 2, Larkin 1. Back here, Friday Night Lights, Ballpark at Rosemont. Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon, 2-1 Hampshire over Larkin right now. Leading off is the freshman Sarah Bowen, who made a very nice out in center field just now to retire the side in the bottom of the first against Larkin. And here is the pitch from Hannah Gross, and that is right at the plate, but umpire has called the ball 1 ball and no strikes, the count. Yes, it is 1 ball. Okay, Gross delivers again, and that is outside and in, that is down and in, with moving to her left to block the play was Sophie Young, the catcher. And so now a swing and a miss from the freshman Bowen, 2 balls and 1 strike. Gross shall go again, and that is 3 balls, 1 strike. So a borderline pitch right there, but Young had dropped it behind home plate. And they'll have bat around here and going to the top of the order next. And here is a nice lining single to left field. So that is a base hit for Sarah Bowen, the freshman. So that is going to bring up Jasmine Lopez, a starter who helped her own cause last time up. She had a double and a run scored thanks to an error.
Nice aggressive swing there by Sarah Bonin with a 3-1 count. Able to shoot that ball between the third baseman and the shortstop for a nice base hit.
Yes, indeed. So Lopez is up once again. And that was Allie Snyder and Melissa Esparza that ball got past. And swinging behind the plate, fouling it off back, is Lopez. So we have no balls and 1 strike, but it should be either 1-1 or 1-2. Gross delivers again, and this is a very high swing, many feet up, and nice catch right there by Sophie Young, the catcher. I gotta tell you, Lopez popped this one up very high. It was pretty up in the zone, and so Young had to run many feet. That was popped all the way up to the net behind home plate, and perfect position, so it is 1 out now, and running is Bowen, and she is going to slide into second base without a throw. This is Morgan Hafling, who struck out looking her last time up. Gross delivers, and that is down and out. Again, blocking the pitch there was Young, the catcher. 2 balls, no strikes to Hafling with Bowen on second base. Gross delivers to Hafling, and that is up. And now trying to steal third base on that error is Bowen, and she's going to slide in safely. Misplaying that ball was Carissa Williams, a third baseman. So Bowen tried to steal second base. There was a pass ball, I guess, or a wild pitch. And then Young fired a strike to third base, but Williams dropped it, and sliding in there was Bowen. And now it is 3 balls and 1 strike to Hafling. On deck is Allie Snyder, the shortstop. Hafling batting from the left side. On third base still is Bowen. Here is Gross, and lining that one over the home dugout into the left field bleachers. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 3 hits for Hampshire, none for Larkin. 3 errors for Hampshire, 1 for Larkin. And here is the pitch, and that is going to be a low ball. So Hafling will take first base on a base on ball. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Here's Allie Snyder.
And once again, Hannah Gross will be looking for the opportunity for a double play here to get out of this inning.
Well, she induced her own grounder, a 1-2 putout, and then a 4-3 in the first inning. And running, trying to take second. Oh, scoring now is Bowen, and taking second is Hafling. What happened was Hafling was trying to steal second. Young had tried to throw to second base, but no one was covering, and so that was deflected off the glove of Gross, and scoring from third base is Bowen. Is now 3-1 Hampshire. Here's Gross on a delivery that is up and away. 1 ball, no strikes to Allie Snyder with Hafling on second base.
Hampshire continue to be very aggressive, not only in their swings, but in their base running, and it's really paying off for them so far.
Here's the delivery up and away. 2 balls, no strikes to Allie Snyder. So the infielders are at the bags, corner infielders at least. Second and short are back, and this is a grounder to the shortstop, Haley Boney, who is going to throw to first base, caught by Urbanek, and that is 2 outs. So what happened was Boney was able to field this one relatively cleanly. Urbanek got a nice high glove on it, but she was able to beat out Snyder in time. And here is Melissa Esparza batting right. And she digs in, crouches with both knees. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Hafling is at third base, and Gross delivers. That is going to be a ball, 2-0. Looks like a borderline pitch down low. Boney is more in now at short. Gross delivers, and that is a tad inside for a ball 3. Could have gone either way. 3 balls, no strikes to Esparza. Gross delivers, and that is strike 1. So it looked like it just caught one over the plate that was down low, but I guess right at the knees. Gross delivers again, and Esparza lines this one foul into left field. 3 balls, 2 strikes, full count with 2 outs. Hafling is very cold. She's got a jacket on with white gloves, standing at third base.
And she will be on the move here with a 3-2 and 2 outs.
Or maybe not, as Esparza lines that one to the dugout, the Hampshire dugout, but it was deflected and caught by Urbanek, but not an out though. So here's Gross again on the delivery to Esparza, and that is just high for ball 4. So yet another walk issued by Gross. Runners at the corners, 2 out. Here is Lauren Egger, the first baseman. Batting from the right side, we shall see what she does.
As you just mentioned, Corey, that is the 4th walk that issued thus far from Gross.
First pitch swing by Egger. That is going to be a bloop foul. Just foul, teeter foul coming in from left field. That was Megan Shuey, the left fielder for Larkin, and she was just coming in just barely foul. Could have been a bloop single that would have scored Hafling and made it 4-1, but instead is no balls, 1 strike to Egger. Gross to Egger again, and that is going to be down a defensive indifference, it looks like, and taking second base over there is Esparza. So Esparza is at second with Hafling on third. 1-1 to Egger. From the windup, Gross. That is up and away. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. On that first pitch swing, just got foul into left. Gross again to Egger, and that's a wild pitch. That one's going to get away from Young. Coming in to score from third base is Hafling. It is 4-1, so looks like a wild pitch, I believe, and going to third base is Esparza. 4-1 Whippers, and that just got very ugly, and now they're down 4-1 on a mishandled delivery right there.
Only 3 errors, in account for, or 1 error account for Larkin, but a number of errant throws and pass balls, not very clean play, and as we see there, another base runner and a given account in as 5-1 for Hampshire.
Infield single by Egger that got past the glove of Gross, and trying to handle it there was Aguinagua, but there was no play, and coming in to score was Esparza, as my partner mentioned, 5-1 by the Whippers. Here's delivery now to Ellie Lapie, and that is going to be way foul over the right field bleachers. No balls and 1 strike. Runner at first, still 2 outs. 5-1 Hampshire. Gross delivers, and that is high up and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to the right-hander Lapie. Lapie is catching tonight. 3 runs this inning for Hampshire. Here's delivery from Gross, and a fat swing and a miss right through the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Gross is 1 strike away from getting out of this, but the damage is done. 3 more runs for the Whippers this top of the second. Gross delivers, and Lapie fouls this one high off the net behind her. 1 ball and 2 strikes will go again. She digs back in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gross delivers underhand. That is off the plate, trying to steal and covering. That is a safe. So a stolen base right there from Lauren Egger. Boney, no one was covering second base, so Boney quickly trying to cover second base, and she got there, but the tag was not in time. Here's delivery now that is down and low, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a stolen base for Lauren Egger. Boney trying to run to second base. It got to her, but Egger slid in time, beat the tag. She's at second base. Here's Gross now delivering to Lapie, and that is down and low. Having to block it, that is ball 4. Lapie is on first with the base on ball. Lauren Egger is on second base. Now here is Renee Malecki.
And that's the second walk already drawn by Ellie Lapie in this game. The base on balls count continues to rise for Hannah Gross.
Malecki takes ball 1, up and away, up high. If I recall correctly, that is now the 5th base on ball issued by Hannah Gross. Not a good pitching line so far. And Gross is going to dish this one up, and Malecki is going to line out into shallow right field by Sierra Alonso, and that is going to end the inning and retire the side. We're going to the bottom of the second. Hampshire 5, Larkin 1. Back here, Friday Night Lights, Ballpark at Rosemont. Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon, Jasmine Lopez gets ready for a second inning of work. With a 5-1 lead, Christopher, Hampshire over Larkin. She's got a nice cushion.
Absolutely. A rocky start to this game. Obviously a 2-1, giving up that one run in the last inning, but, we're going to, in the first inning, I should say, excuse me. It's just going to be, an uphill climb here for Larkin to try to get out of this hole.
Third baseman Carissa Williams leads things off for the Lady Royals, and she takes a strike. We're not sure of the count. It may be 1 ball and 1 strike. The scoreboard is not saying anything, but she digs in from the right-hand side. And Lopez, here is a chop ball with 1 hop. That is an error from Melissa Esparza, third baseman. So reaching on an error is Carissa Williams. And here is the left fielder, Megan Chewy. So an error right there. The ball got past the first baseman, Lauren Egger.
And the good news for Larkin is, for as much errors and sloppy play they've had, Hampshire has more errors than them, it's just that kind of game where you got to grind it out, try to find your opportunities in, getting on base any way you can, just like in that error right there.
Chewy shows bunt and got out of the Bears box, but that went straight foul. So no balls and 1 strike to Chewy. On first base is Williams, who tried to run. That is outside. Now she's coming back, and that is an error. So that is a throwaway right there, but she does not take off. So Lapie, that was outside to Lapie, the catcher. She tried to throw to Egger at first base. That got past her. And trying to show a run was Williams, who's trying to run there, who tries to run again, tries to take off, and that is a foul to the away dugout for the visitors. 1 ball and 2 strikes, so that was a lot of excitement. Williams did not steal second, though, when the ball got into right field. Now here we go again with Williams trying to run. And now she's going to take off. She hesitates. And we got a collision at second base. We have ourselves a collision at second base. Carissa Williams was running into the shortstop, Alex Snyder, who was looking to cover second. And now we have ourselves a mound conference. We shall see. That ball got in to shallow center field.
And Carissa Williams jogging to the bench, take a breather, make sure she's okay. Kind of a scary collision there. But again, a lot of errant throws here. As I just mentioned, that the throwing and the play is just so inconsistent on both sides. It's getting to the point where, as we see there, it's almost dangerous how inconsistent both teams are playing. Cleaner play is necessary here. More sound defensive. More sound defense for the sole purpose of trying to get out of these innings, because the longer they go, the longer Jocelyn Lopez and Hannah Gross have to continue pitching and giving errant throws, a lot of base on balls. So the play really needs to clean up here.
Having the luxury of a replay, it looked like Williams was running, then hesitated in between the base path, and finally decided to go second. Her lower half collided with Snyder's lower half, and now resumes play. A strike three to Megan Shu Wee. That is going to be the first out of the inning, and that was a swing and a miss right through. So here is Sierra Alonso back from the left-hand side. Esparza is very in from third. And here's the delivery from Lopez. 1 ball and no strikes. Williams on second. Still no hits for the Royals. Hannah Gross is on deck trying to help her own cause. That is down low and in. 2 balls, no strikes to Alonso. Yes, Williams at second base. Again, Esparza is in. No one covering third. And Williams, again, taking a few steps. A delivery is inside. 3 balls, no strikes to Sierra Alonso. Here's the windup from Lopez. And that is going to be strike 1. So just caught the plate. Maybe a little inside. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Lopez delivers to Alonso, and that one is swung right through for strike 2. So it's a full count. Gross on deck. The outfielders are playing rather shallow. Lopez delivers, and this one's going to be lined behind home plate. Deflects off the net. Will go again. Still a full count to Alonso.
And you saw there, again, a conservative approach at 3-0 and taking the pitch, taking a strike, and now a couple strikes to follow, especially with that fall off, and another approach here.
Lopez delivers a swing and a miss, strike 3. So 2 outs now. Here is Hannah Gross, who's trying to help her own cause. She's had 5 base on balls. She trails by 4 runs and is the pitcher of record at the moment, but she can do some damage right here and possibly drive in her teammate Williams from second base. As she digs in to face her counterparts, and that is strike 1. Caught the outer plate right there. No balls and 1 strikes to Hannah Gross. Lopez delivers with Williams still on second, takes a few steps, and then goes back, and that is strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes to Hannah Gross. Leadoff batter Sam Wall on deck. Gross batting from the right side. Short sleeves. Lopez delivers, and Gross chops this one foul past the Larkin dugout into Malecki, the left fielder, who fields that one. Still no balls, 2 strikes. 5-1 Hampshire. 4 hits for them, none for Larkin. 3 errors for Hampshire, 1 for Larkin. And delivery from Lopez here, who hits this one very weakly, is Gross, and she is going to be thrown out from Snyder to Eggert. She hit that one very gingerly, chopped it very slowly. Snyder picked it up, threw it to Eggert at first base, and that is going to end the inning. 5-1 Hampshire. You're listening to Friday Night Lights. Back here at the ballpark at Rosemont, you're listening to Friday Night Lights. Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon, and Jocelyn Nelson is going to dig in for the Whippers, who have a very auspicious beginning, who lead 5-1 after 2 innings of play. Hannah Gross will have her 3rd inning of work. She is on the mound and is going to deliver to Nelson, and that is going to be outside off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Nelson, the second baseman. Normal alignment right here, a very high swing pop-up. Let's see who wants it. And coming in many steps is Sam Wall, the center fielder, for the first out. Looks like she had to travel about 10-20 feet into shallow center field for that. She had to hustle very nicely, but a very high pop-up nonetheless. 1 out. Here is Sarah Bowen, the freshman.
Very nice play there by Wall to close the gap and squeeze that one.
Gross delivers, first pitch swing by Bowen, and coming over again, and that is a very nice underhanded catch right there by the catcher Young for Larkin. So 2 quick outs, and I'm sure Hannah Gross is asking herself, where was this the first 2 innings?
Absolutely, and now her command seems to be back after 5 runs. But again, another nice play there by Young, getting a nice foul-out catch.
Here's Jasmine Lopez, her counterpart, who swings the first pitch. 0-1 the count. Looks like they're very aggressive so far, Hampshire, despite being up 4 runs, taking the first pitch and trying to make something happen there. So here's Gross once again to Lopez, who swings once again. That is off the net toward the Hampshire dugout. 0-2 to Lopez.
And as you say, that's pretty opportunistic of a team that already has a nice cushion of a 5-1 lead to keep being aggressive and try to get some new things to work on, as we heard their coach talk about in the opener, to try new things.
Lopez swings a bloop single into right field. This is going to be extra bases. Here we go once again. Looks like a repeat of the first inning, and that is going to be out. So retiring the side in order. So Jasmine Lopez lined a single to the right fielder, Sierra Alonso. She misjudged it. Sam Wall, the center fielder, came in. She threw to third base and the home plate. Rounding third was Lopez, but on the perfect tag right there was Sophie Young, the catcher. And just like that, we're going to the bottom of the third. 5-1 Hampshire. Back here, Friday Night Lights, Ballpark at Rosemont, 5-1 Hampshire over Larkin. Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon, and Christopher, as Jasmine Lopez goes to the mound in the bottom of the third inning. She better hope that getting greedy there at the top half of the third doesn't cost her on the mound psychologically.
Well, we hope not, because that could certainly rattle her. Another aggressive play to round the bases off an opportunistic chance when the ball went past the right fielder. But what a relay there. I think that was from Bone to the catcher, Young, and a great tag by her. So we'll see what Larkin can do to capitalize on that momentum.
Sam Wall looking to produce the first hit for the Royals, and it's 0-1 to her, and then she takes a pitch inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. 5 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors for Hampshire. Lopez delivers, that is down low. 2 balls and a strike to Wall. 1 run, no hits, 1 error for Larkin. Wall steps in once again, crouches, and that is going to be a full count. Oh, excuse me, 3-1. Looks like it was down and away. 3 balls and a strike. Here's the delivery from Lopez, and Wall offers at this one, going over her head. That is going to be a single. a base hit for extra bases for sure, and that is over the head of Morgan Hafling, the right fielder, and that is going to be a stand-up triple for Sam Wall. So how about that? The first hit of the game for Larkin is a stand-up triple by Wall that was over the head of Morgan Hafling, the right fielder. She had to play it off the bounce, and all of a sudden, no outs. Bella Aguinagua steps in. She could make this one a 5-2 game right here.
Well, the Royals seem to have found their stroke, especially with that hit. A nice blooper to right field, and this is the opportunity.
There's a pass ball right here, and going to score, and without a throw is Sam Wall. So Lopez, a wild pitch that is past the catcher, Lapie, and coming in to score from third base is Wall, 5-2.
And there you go. I mean, it took something as simple as that, and they're right back in the ball game.
Lopez delivers. That is up and away. 2 balls, no strikes to Aguinagua, but are still down 3 runs. On deck is Haley Boney, the shortstop. Lopez delivers to Aguinagua, who swings right through this one. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Looks like she was chasing a little bit out of the zone. Lopez to Aguinagua. Up and away. 3 balls and a strike. Aguinagua is wearing a blue hoodie right now in this cold weather. And the delivery from Lopez. Swing and a miss. Down she goes for strike 3. So it looks like that was a breaking ball pitch. She had to go chase down low out of the zone. And she is retired. Here is Haley Boney.
And a nice rebound there by Lopez to, after giving up that run, get the strikeout right away.
Yes, indeed. And she delivers to Boney right here. And oh, that just went over her helmet, over her head. She steps in from the right side, so that is a bit high. She had to duck and get out of the way. 1 ball, no strike to Boney. Lopez gets set. Again, pitching in, but that's called a strike. 1-1. Boney batting outside, not all the way in. Lopez delivers. That is way off the plate and away. 2 balls and a strike. She was really off her command right there, was Lopez.
And she definitely slowed her pace down, too. I wonder if that had something to do with it.
Here we go once again, and that is blocked in the dirt. That gets away from Lapie. 3 balls and a strike to Boney. And she takes time, steps out of the batter's box. On deck is Alexa Urbanek. Looks like something may have caught the shin guard of Lapie, the catcher for Hampshire. She might be trying to tie on her shin guard right now. We're not completely sure from this viewpoint. It is 5-2 Hampshire. 5 hits for Hampshire, 1 for the Royals. The Whippers have 3 errors and just 1 gaff for the Royals. As Boney takes time and is out of the batter's box, she's coming back in right now. And Lapie looks ready. She had taken off her mask. Now she puts it back on. We're not completely sure what that was. Something may have hit her. She may have lost something. Either way, Boney is back in the batter's box now. Lopez gets set and fires. Again, that is in. So Boney is going to take a base on ball. And moving to her left was Lapie, having to block that. So it is 1 out and a walk to Boney. And here is Alexa Urbanek. Working with 1 out. Here comes the right-handed first baseman. Lopez deals, and running is Boney. This could be a double play right here. Double off. No. That was a sharp liner hit to the second baseman, Jocelyn Nelson, and she tried to double off Boney at first base. She was running, she was off, but she threw to Lauren Egger, the first baseman. That got past her, so now it's 2 outs. That could have been a double play, though. And now here is Sophie Young, the catcher, as Lopez deals, and that is a strike. So an inside strike, it looks like. 0-1.
Could be that Nelson just got a little excited there with that opportunity to double off Boney at first base, but Lopez, despite her struggles here, a little bit with her command here in this third inning, is going to go out with an 0-2 count now to try to finish off this inning.
Well, she had ample opportunity. Definitely, if she throws it to Egler and Egger catches that, that's a double play. And that is out and away, 1-2 to Young. So definitely all the makings of a double play is just that one was thrown away by Nelson past Egger. And now it's 2 outs instead of 3. Here's Lopez once again pitching inside. A bit up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Boney is still at first base. Egger, the first baseman, is not covering her, but she's a little slightly in. And here is a chop shot to Esparza, third baseman. Overhand throw to Egger, who cannot catch the ball. So that gets away from her. Going to first base now is Young, and the third base is Boney. So runners at the corners, 2 outs, and now with Egger failing to catch that, you see definitely some chances here to retire the side, but instead now Larkin is threatening. Here's Carissa Williams. Lopez is looking for a sign, and she delivers. That is high up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. And if you're the Whippers, you got to ask yourself, hey, we had 2 chances to get that third out, and both times we mishandled the ball. And now as runners at the corners, 2 outs. And following this one behind the plate and hits the net is Williams. So it is 1 ball and 1 strike to even things up with 2 outs. Bottom of the third, 5-2 Hampshire. Delivering here is Lopez again, out and away.
Very out and away, excuse me.
Should be 2 balls and a strike. For some reason, the scorekeeper says that's no strikes, but I believe that she did foul 1 back, and that is inside. Oh, it called a strike. Called a strike. Looks like it was a bit inside, but I guess it just grazed the plate, so an even count at 2 with 2 outs to Williams. Here's Lopez's delivery, who hits this one, and is that foul? Yes, indeed it is, so we will go again. What happened there was Williams had a very high liner that was out of the zone that got past the first baseman Egger, but that pushed foul. So 2-2 with 2 outs with Boney at second base. Now once again, Williams makes contact. Nelson throws high to Egger, but no error this time. That retires a side. We are going to the bottom of the 4th. And we're going to the top of the 4th, 5-2 Hampshire. Top of the fourth, Ballpark at Rosemont. Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon. Hampshire is up 5-2. And Morgan Hafling, the left-handed batter, is getting set. We have a mound conference between Hannah Gross and her infielders. And now we got to see which Hannah Gross is going to appear, the one who allowed 5 runs in the first 2 innings or the one who pretty much escaped the top of the third drama-free.
Yeah, definitely. 1, 2, 3 in the top of the third, except for that near another inside the park home run by Jasmine Lopez, but a good play again. The relay to get her out at home. And you're indeed correct to see if Gross can rebound and maintain her control here in the top of the fourth.
Hafling is about an inch or two outside the batter's box, taking some warm-up swings, and now she steps in. Now getting ready to deliver is Gross, and that's going to bounce off of her catcher, Young. She has to go behind the plate and get it. 1 ball, no strikes the count. I see that Carissa Williams is now in playing third base, and she's got herself a hoodie. Gross still wearing short sleeves, who delivers this one off the plate outside. 2-0 to Hafling. Infielders are in. And a fat swing and a miss. Hafling was trying to do an Ichiro with a running swing. 2 balls and a strike. Especially so is Bella Aguinagua, who's very in. And she's not too far off from the pitcher's mound. And a swing and a foul back. Even count at 2 to Hafling. Corner infielders are in, and that one is ball 3. So Hafling moved away, almost got a piece of her. That was inside and up. And now with an excuse me, so very nice diving catch by Haley Boney. That's the defensive highlight of the game easily. So with a very excuse me swing, not the strongest swing in the world from Morgan Hafling, Haley Boney had to run past her first baseman, Carissa Williams, with a diving stop, showing some leather to retire her. 1 out. Here's Allie Snyder. Impressive play right there from Boney, the shortstop.
Absolutely. What great range there on the little blooper, getting over and sliding as she caught that ball.
0-1 to Snyder. Gross delivers. That is down and in. 1 ball and a strike. Yeah, Boney had to hustle. She extended her glove on her left hand. She dove all out on that. Yeah, she ran past Williams in the infield to retire Hafling. And it is 2 balls and a strike to Snyder.
And it seems like the defense behind Hannah Gross is starting to come around and help her out, making some excellent plays like we just saw there, trying to keep this game just to 3 runs as it is right now.
Gross delivers, and following that off her shin is Snyder, 2-2. And that was what Coach Annie Vogt stressed of Larkin. You play good defense, you can definitely improve your record from a year ago.
And thus far today, obviously, despite errors on both sides, they do have less errors than Hampshire has, despite Hampshire having the lead.
And here is Boney once again trying to throw to the first baseman Urbanik, and she gets Snyder out. So that was a ground ball swing, and it looks like that got past Williams, the third baseman, but bailing her out once again was Boney, who threw to Urbanik, the first baseman. Here's Melissa Esparza now with 2 outs in the top of the fourth, 5-2 Hampshire. So how about that? Haley Boney definitely being the defensive star, at least for this inning. Gross delivers to Esparza. That is off the plate, outside, 1-1. 5-2 Hampshire, both in runs and hits. And offering a swing at this one is Esparza. That's going to get over the glove of Aguinagua, the second baseman. That is going to be into shallow right field. Picking it up there is Alonso. So as a base hit, and Hampshire stays alive this inning.
Solid single there by Melissa Esparza into right, just out of the glove range there of Aguinagua.
Here is Lauren Egger, the first baseman. And she offers a first pitch swing foul just behind home plate a little bit toward the home dugout, 0-1. So it's now 6 hits for Hampshire, 5 runs for them, 2 hits and 2 runs for Larkin. Here's Gross delivering. And that is up and away out of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. At first base is Esparza. Urbanek, the first baseman, is in. And she takes a few steps and hesitates and goes back to first, sliding in. Young thought that she had potentially to catch Esparza and throw her to Urbanek, but she slid in safely. And it's 2-1 to Egger. Gross delivers and having to block the stop, and it's going to be no throw. Advancing to second base is Esparza. So 3 balls and a strike. Should be a defensive indifference right there. Esparza slides to second. That got away from Young. She had to make a block to her left, down and in. And that is down low for ball 4. So we've seen less walks from Hannah Gross, but there was one just there. So runners at first and second, 2 outs. Looked like it was going to be drama-free once again, but now here are the Whippers trying to muster something up, push that 6th run across the board, possibly more. Here is Ellie Lapie, the catcher, digging in with 2 outs, so the runners on first and second. And a first pitch swing. Aguinagua throws to Urbanek, the first baseman, a 4-3 out. So we're going to the bottom of the 4th. The score, Hampshire 5, Larkin 2. Lights at the ballpark at Rosemont. Corey Stills and that Christopher Simon. 5-2 Hampshire going to the bottom of the 4th. We are not precisely sure. Probably won't start on time for our doubleheader is Evanston and St. Ignatius. It's about 5 to 7 right now. They're supposed to start at 7:30 on the bottom of the 4th. But Christopher, let us remember that Hampshire and Larkin got off to a late start.
They did indeed, and we weren't exactly sure tonight. We might have been having actually a conversation on the mound. Who was the home team? Because we were also confused about that up here in the booth. But yeah, a little bit slow pace to this game, and you know, to be expected for a doubleheader. Maybe start a little bit late. So we'll finish this one up, and we'll get to the next one. But for now, we're in the top of the 5th, or bottom of the 4th, excuse me.
Megan Chewy will dig in against Lopez, and Chewy offers a first pitch line right to Lopez. How about that? Flash in a letter. She's congratulated by her third baseman Esparza running to the mound. So how about that? 1 pitch, 1 out. Excellent reaction by Jasmine Lopez.
She's really displayed her athletic ability today. It's really been a show of her ability to hit and run, and there you see her flashing the leather on that great snag.
Sierra Alonso digs in. That is a strike, so rather a high strike, if you will. Esparza and Egger, the infielders, corner infielders, are rather in to lefty Alonso. So it is 1 ball and 1 strike. I know that it says 2 balls, no strikes on the scoreboard, but rather sure the umpire called the first pitch a strike. And Lopez delivers to Alonso. A swing and a miss down low. 1 ball, 2 strike the count. We'll go once again. Lopez delivers. Swing and a miss. right through her for strike 3. So how about that? 2 batters, 2 outs. And now we have Hannah Gross, who is wearing a gray pullover. So now she is wearing long sleeves. And here's a delivery to her counterpart. First pitch swing behind the plate, deflects off the fence, no balls, and a strike to Gross, who is still the pitcher of record unless something changes. And here's the pitch. Gross again offering, taking a few steps behind the first base bag is Egger on that pop-up, and that's going to retire the side in order. We are going to the top of the 5th. The score, Hampshire 5, Larkin 2. Back here in the top of the 5th, Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon, Ballpark at Rosemont, 5-2 Hampshire over Larkin. Christopher, I don't understand this. Hannah Gross was just at the plate, and she had she popped out to the first baseman, Lauren Egger, and she was wearing a long sleeve hoodie, and now she takes off the hoodie and goes back out there with short sleeves. I don't understand that.
I don't understand how she can be out there with short sleeves. We've seen her mentioned a couple times tonight how she was out there, no Under Armour or anything underneath, just the short sleeve jersey. And as we mentioned, the wind and the temperature, it is quite cold out there. She's gone out there and braved the cold, and then, as you say, decides to hit with longer sleeves on and takes it off to pitch. So she must know something that we don't know, because A, it is cold, and B, I don't understand either.
And Renee Maliki digs in, and you and I are up inside a booth with closed doors wearing coats, and she's out there playing softball with short sleeves. So here's the delivery to Maliki, who shows bunt on the first pitch, and that's a foul behind home plate. No balls and a strike to the left fielder for Hampshire. Way in, and I mean way in, is Urbanek. She is parallel with the pitcher's mound, many feet in front of first base. Again, showing bunt. Here is Gross. Pick it up, and she's going to throw it to first base. I believe covering there is Aguinagua, so it looks like the Urbanek was a little too in. Both she and Williams were trying to go for the ball. Who bunted that one was Malecki, but picking that up was Gross, and with a quick fire to first base, covering was Aguinagua, 1 out. Here is Jocelyn Nelson, the second baseman.
And a good cover there by Aguinagua. A really solid play there, and we've seen a lot of throws go over the first baseman or whoever's covering first base, their head today, and that was a nice solid throw from Gross to the second baseman covering the first base bag.
It's now an even count to Nelson, 1 ball and 1 strikes, who steps in. She looks like she's leaning in towards the plate. Gross serves this one, and she lines this one foul back behind home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gross gets sets and fires, and that is up and out. 2-2 to Nelson.
And as we've seen, the Hampshire bats have gone cold. This will be, going on 2.5 innings of inability to score some runs here. So Larkin has the opportunity here to complete this inning defensively and with good pitching and try to get at it in the bottom of the 5th, because it's starting to get to be crunch time.
That was up and high. I believe full count, 3 balls and a strike. Here's a delivery. This is going to be a ground ball to short. 6-3, Boney to Urbanek. and that is going to retire Nelson. So yeah, very easy, quick roller over there to Boney, who threw overhand to Urbanek, the first baseman. No trouble at all. Here is the freshman, Sarah Bowen, with 2 outs. Looks like Larkin's bats is coinciding with the weather, as she offers a first pitch swing there, and that is not going to be run after by the catcher Young. Wasn't sure if she had a play on it. That hit the net behind home plate and got down, no balls and a strike. And it's starting to get darker here at the ballpark at Rosemont. Still some clouds, not completely pitch dark, but definitely the sun has set. Infielders and outfielders, a normal alignment, and that was going to bounce on dirt and get away from Young. Taking a few steps to her right to retrieve that ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Bowen.
And as you mentioned, the lights are starting to take effect here because of the darkness. You can start to see the lights on the buildings out in the outfield. Still a very nice night, despite the cold, for this Friday Night Lights game.
Pitching that one is Gross to Bowen. That is a bit outside and up, 2-1. Bowen, the freshman, very impressive to be on varsity her freshman year. And tosses one right down the middle, and that's going to get past Aguanagua. She was playing over towards first base on that one. That is a very small chopper, if you will, into shallow right field for a base hit. And so staying alive right there for the pitcher, Jasmine Lopez. She digs in, and Bowen, a very soft liner, past Aguanagua, trying to make a glove at it, and now going is Bowen, and that is going past Boney. That is going past Boney. That should be an error. So Lopez reaches on the first pitch. She hit this one to Boney, and that she tried to field it but couldn't field it cleanly. That got past her, booted into the outfield. And so now all of a sudden, we've seen this tonight, a common theme. 2 outs, quickly right away, a couple times before, and now runners at first and second. Trouble is brewing, but let us point out, Hampshire has not scored since the top of the second when they scored 3 runs. They're still at 5-2. Here's Morgan Haflin with a ball and a strike to her, and going and firing is Gross. And now it's going to be a play at third base, and sliding in safely right there is Lopez. Oh, excuse me, that was Bowen who slid in safely. Williams was covering. Going to second is Lopez. And here's Gross firing to Hafling. And she swings at this one. Foul behind home plate. Deflects off the net, 2-1. Seen a lot of drama. So it's gone from 2 outs to 2 runners on second and third, still with 2 outs. Gross fires to Hafling, who hits this one. Could be a blooper. Tough play for Williams, and that's going to be in foul territory. Gets away from her. Could have been over the shoulder with a glove underhand. Could have made a fantastic play. The good news for her, though, Christopher, is that was still in foul territory. Hampshire could not score, and we'll go again.
Yeah, we saw the runner there, Bowen at third, thinking it was a fair ball, running home and realizing that no, you can't go to the dugout right now and warm up. You got to stay out there.
Here's Gross once again, dealing to Hafling. That was down low. Sliding to block that was Young, which is especially crucial right here. You can't really afford that. Can't afford another wild pitch or a pass ball. Here's Gross once again to Hafling, who hits this one fairly. That is misplayed by Boney. Coming in to score is Bowen. And is going to play at the play at Lopez. Advancing at second base is Hafling. So how about that? Haley Boney, the defensive star of the top of the fourth, made 2 great plays. That was hit just now by Morgan Hafling. That was fair, and it got past her. It looked like she tried to field it. That got past her glove. And so scoring was both Bowen and Lopez, and going from first to second through all the confusion was Hafling. It is now 7-2. And just like that, even though they were retired without any runs in the third or the fourth, now the top of the fifth is now 7-2. They scored 2 runs with 2 outs on the same play. Just got a little more ugly, and now more work cut out for Larkin. 0-2 right here. Here is a wild pitch past Young. Going to third base is Hafling. And Larkin's really going to need to work some magic here if they want to come back and win. It is 1-1 to Allie Snyder, the shortstop. A lot of fireworks in this inning, and it all started with 2 outs. Here's Gross once again, wheeling and dealing to Snyder. That is up and away, 2 balls and a strike. So at third base is Hafling, and what a spiral turn of events. That really turned on its head just now. You go from 2 outs to 2 runs allowed, and offering a check swing at this one. Did not swing all the way through is Snyder. That is a foul ball to the right field bleachers. Coming in was Alonso. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. What a commotion. Here we go once again with Gross, who lines this one to Boney. Can she do it? Can she throw to Urbanek at first base? She does. Overhand. That retires a side, but not before Hampshire gets 2 more runs. It is 7-2 Whippers. We are going to the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to Corey Stolzenbach and Christopher Simon at the Ballpark at Rosemont on Friday Night Lights. Well, we're back here at the Ballpark at Rosemont. Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon, and Christopher. There's a reason there's 3 outs in softball instead of 2 per inning. Relatively drama-free for Larkin. Hannah Gross retiring the first 2 batters of the Whippers, no problem. But, you know, a string of events caused 2 runs to come across, all with 2 outs in the inning. And now bottom of the 5th, and Sam Wall's coming up. And how quickly things changed in just an instant. You have a 3-run deficit that is now a 5-run deficit.
Great play by the younger players here of Hampshire.
And that is a foul ball. Ellie Lapie, the catcher, almost made a great sliding catch, diving catch. Sam Wall offered the first pitch in foul territory, and Lapie was on her knees trying to catch that ball, but just missed, nothing in 1. As you said, the freshman playing a big role in Hampshire scoring those 2 runs with 2 outs. That's off the plate, 1-1.
And the sophomore pitcher, Lopez. I mean, 2 outs there, and Hannah Gross looked to be in command of that inning. But all of a sudden, the 2 good hits past one of the better defenders for Larkin, Boney, at short. And the opportunity came up, and the floodgates opened there for Hampshire, opening up now a 5-run lead.
2 balls and a strike to Wall. Corner infielders are in. Lopez fires this one, and coming in with no trouble at all is taking a few steps in towards the pitcher's mound as Esparza. There's a pop fly to the third baseman, 1 out. Here is Bella Aguinagua, and while not the major factor, she does play some role in this because one of the balls got past her when she was trying to play towards first base. That could have been the 3rd out of the inning, but instead the inning went a little bit longer. Here's Lopez dealing to Aguinagua. That is down and in for a ball. And how about this? You know, you think how quickly someone can be switched from hero to goat, not just in softball, baseball, any sport. Here's Lopez, and that's high and up, 2-0. Think of Daniel Murphy last year against the Cubs in the NLCS. He was fantastic, but against the Royals in the World Series, he booted some crucial ground balls that led to the Royals winning the World Series in 5 games. And here's a delivery from Lopez down low to Aguinagua. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you have these Larkin Royals who are struggling right now, especially against pitcher Jasmine Lopez, who is really not lost a lot of her stuff here. It really seems like she has her velocity still here in the bottom of the 5th, and a lot of her control is, you know, she had a couple rocky situations there early on, but really have still been dominant here.
And that is ball 4 to Aguinagua. So she takes a base on ball. We haven't seen too many of that tonight from Lopez. And now comes Haley Boney, who can redeem herself in a major way.
Number 11, Haley Bone.
Bottom of the fifth, 7-2 Hampshire over Larkin. First pitch delivery from Lopez, and that was in the dirt, and sliding and taking second there was Aguinagua. So that is ball one to Boney, and then taking off, sliding in a second, no tag right there. So a runner on second with no outs. 1-0 the count to Boney. Lopez dealing. That gets away. Going to third base is Aguinagua. This is going to be a close play, and sliding in safely is Aguinagua. Esparza, third baseman, could not get a play on it. That was off her glove. So 2 balls and no strikes to Haley Boney.
As soon as I mentioned Lopez's control, we see 2 wild pitches there, allowing Aguinagua to continue 2 bases and get in a scoring position here and only 90 feet away.
We got ourselves a mound conference right now. There's Kelly Wozliewski, the head coach for Hampshire. Not sure if anybody was warming up. She's got a black coat on, and she's talking to her infielders right now, probably about control. Not sure what kind of effect the weather is having on this right now. Two balls and no strikes to Boney, the shortstop. We're going to go again. She has 1 foot in the batter's box right now and steps in fully. Digs in and is ready for takeoff. Here's Lopez, and this is a chopper right there to Esparza, who is checking on Aguinagua, but she offered that, though Aguinagua scores. So it's a 5-3 to Egger, and Boney is out. Scoring is Aguinagua, and it's funny right there because Esparza was checking on Aguinagua, who is halfway in between third and home plate. And at first she didn't go, but then Esparza throws to Egger, and she decides to finish anyway, and now it's 7-3.
She determined there that probably the right call, that the out was more important than the run at this point, especially up 5.
You always want to train out for a run. Now here is a very weak first pitch swing by Alexa Urbanek, and a great throw and great 5-3 put out right there by Esparza to Egger. That was a very slow roller hit right there. Coming and charging was Esparza. She threw it to Egger, who played it underhand, having to take her glove off the bag. And we are going through 5, going to the top of the 6th, 7-3 Hampshire. Back here at top of the 6th ballpark at Rosemont, I'm Corey Stolzenbach with Christopher Simon, and Christopher, Melissa Esparza digging in for Hampshire right now. Larkin has 6 outs to work with to push 4 runs across the board. Can they do it?
We will see. Again, it's been such a crazy game, frankly, that I'm not really going to rule out anything here.
And Esparza drives this one. First pitch over the wall. Yes, sir. That is a solo bomb for Melissa Esparza over the left field wall. Here come all of her Hampshire teammates to congratulate her on a first pitch home run. And how about that? She whacked that baby over left field. A solo shot and an extra run for Hampshire. And now a 4-run deficit becomes a 5-run deficit.
So not only do you get that run back, but right when the winds seem to have died down, Melissa Esparza, who made the great play to end the
bottom of the 5th?
Bottom of the 5th, yes, comes up and gets the opportunity to add to the lead, and just like that, what a hit. Clear out of here.
Yes, it was. That was a no-doubter. Just cleared the left field fence about 2-3 feet high above the orange padding in left. And here is Lauren Egger offering a first pitch swing. That's going to get a base hit into shallow left field. So how about that? Hampshire, they're not fooling around. 2 pitches, 2 hits, and 1 run.
And Hannah Gross really now is reeling. It's been a tough game for her, and now with an 8-3 game, you got to think it's near the end of her night because it's been kind of a struggle for her. 11 hits she's given up.
And only 2 runs to show for it. For Royals, Alia Lapide digs in and fouls this one over the right field bleachers. 0-1. But Christopher, if it stays at 2 hits for Larkin, they will have a combined 3 hits through their first 2 games. What is going on with this offense?
It's really tough to tell. I mean, I don't really know if the conditions are affecting them or, I mean, their swings seem to be solid, and both teams displayed an aggressive approach at the plate tonight. Perhaps that might not work for this Larkin team, that they need to be more conservative and take more pitches in order to see what they can hit, what they can handle. It's still going to be a topsy-turvy season for them by the looks of it because they have a lot to figure out.
And as I reiterate, they lost 14-1 to Belvedere North 2 nights ago. They've been outscored so far on the season 22-4. And that is the second pitch that is down and in, 1-1. So is it more of sloppy pitching, sloppy defense, as the offense hasn't gotten in a rhythm yet? What is it?
I mean, I definitely would look at Hannah Gross tonight, and she had her moments, but for the most part struggled. And the defense, again, for the most part, besides shortstop Bone, did not really help her out that much. And I know we keep talking about the error differential, but a lot of pass balls, a lot of pitches in the dirt, a lot of walks, again, given up by Gross. It's just not been a very solid outing from these Larkin Royals, and it obviously shows on the scoreboard.
And running and going towards second, that is going to be a stolen base. So a stolen base right there by Lauren Egger. So that is 3 balls and 1 strike to Alia Lapide.
And as we mentioned before, Coach Vogt of the Larkin Royals is still in the midst of this big rebuild, and obviously it's still happening. It's still in the works of what kind of players does she have on this team, and obviously there's some definite talent on this Larkin team. Just putting it together seems to be the last step, and they have not yet reached that step.
That was a ball 4 to Lapide. That took a hop in the dirt, and now here is Renee Malecki, who it takes a ball. So it is 1 ball, no strikes to Malecki with no outs. 8-3 Hampshire. Now it is virtually completely dark almost. Very dark skies here at the ballpark at Rosemont, offering a bunt. Maybe got a piece of a foul behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike is Malecki. Runners on first and second, no outs. And with a very high deal right there is Gross, 2-1. Well, partner, I know that in softball it's different, that pitcher can go the full game, but you have to ask yourself, if you're Hannah Gross, how much longer can you go here?
Yeah, that's exactly the point. As we look at her pitching right now, her mechanics just don't look right. I mean, it seems to have taken a toll on her throughout this game, and now these past 2 pitches have been very, very high. She seems almost like lofting the pitch up into the to the catcher, and just not seem to be working out very well.
That was 3-1. Now 3-2. That was high and up. Malecki chased one out of the zone, up and out. So trying to look to connect here and do some more damage, but 3-2, and Gross fires, and Malecki connects on this one for a base hit. So it's going to drop down on a 1 hop in the left field. Base hit by Malecki, the left fielder. Bases loaded, no outs. And digging in now is going to be the second baseman, Jocelyn Nelson. And really, Christopher, how much of this right now that we are seeing from Hannah Gross, how much of it is psychological on her behalf?
I mean, you've given up 8 runs and you're, losing by 5. Definitely a sure component of that.
And connecting on the first pitch right there was Nelson, that lined off, deflected off the glove of the third baseman Williams. So scoring one more run right there is Hampshire. That was Egger going from third base. So the gravy train keeps piling on. That was deflected off of Williams, the third baseman, and then no play right there from Boney, who just picked it up. And so now it's 9-3, and we have a mound conference, possibly a change of pitchers. Well, no, actually, Gross is going to stay on, but this is one of, if not the ugliest inning so far for Gross.
Absolutely, and we just talk about, is it psychological, is it physical? Well, the way that Nelson just hit that ball, it very well might be both. She clobbered that ball to the third baseman, causing an error, causing disarray. That's just pretty much been the summary of this game for Larkin.
Williams, the third baseman, is in. Offering on the first pitch is Sarah Bowen. It's going to be a tough play in foul territory coming in many feet in front of first base. Is her back to make the play on a pop fly, and her view was obstructed with Bowen running towards first base, but she was able to make the play. So one out. Here's Jasmine Lopez on first base. On first base is Nelson. On second base is Malecki. On third base is Lapie. Here is Gross, and offering once again, first pitch. That's going to make a thud into the right field bleachers. No ball and one strike to Lopez with one out.
And it's interesting to note, too, you look at the stats from last year's Larkin team. Runs for, they only produced 88 runs total and gave up runs against of 218. So quite a differential there. Hampshire, on the other side, was positive. They had plus 19 of 124 to 105. So you're looking at two teams that have had different results offensively the past couple of years, and it's pretty evident here on the field that that's the case.
And that was high and up, so 2-1 now at Jasmine Lopez. But also give credit to Larkin for being so aggressive on the first pitch. They're not resting on their laurels whatsoever. Aguinaga, second baseman, is in behind the mound, and that is a very high delivery off the glove of Young, the catcher. And so one more base on ball could force in a run and make it 10-3 Hampshire. Here's Gross delivering. That's high up. Yes, indeed. That is another ball. So coming in to score is Lapie from third base. And now Hampshire has cracked double digits on yet another walk by Hannah Gross. And coming out now is Vogt, the coach. She gives the coach the ball, and she's done. So we shall see who's going to take over. We are not completely sure yet. There's going to be a change of pitching. Gross looks completely dejected. Her head is held high, but you can tell she's not happy at all. She takes off her glove, and now there's a mound conference between Vogt and her infielders. And we're going to step aside for a quick break during this pitching change. You're listening to Friday Night Lights, the Ballpark at Rosemont, 10-3 Hampshire over Larkin in the top of the sixth. If you're just tuning in, Corey Stolzenbach, Christopher Simon right here at the ballpark at Rosemont. We got ourselves a rout in the first game of a doubleheader. Hampshire is up 10-3 over Larkin. We got a pitching change. This is Kelly Doherty, a southpaw. She is a bit shorter than the starter Hannah Gross, who is a righty. She went 5 innings, allowed 10 runs, and barring a complete offensive onslaught, Larkin's going to go to 0-2, Christopher.
This is certainly true, and we're looking at the stat line for Hannah Gross as she ends her night. 5 1/3 innings pitched, giving up 7 walks. We talked about that problem, 7 walks. And the other interesting thing to me is only one strikeout. So the majority of her outs came through contact. So she was just getting beat around all night, and unfortunately the scoreboard will reflect that as a 10-3 lead for Hampshire is up there.
Doherty is facing Morgan Hafling, so lefty on lefty, and that was a ball. And now this one is going to be a passed ball going in the dirt, and scoring with very relative ease is Malecki, I believe. So that is now 11-3. That bounce in the dirt got away from Young. 11-3 to add insult to injury. Now here's Allie Snyder. There's a delivery high up, ball, no strike to Snyder, the shortstop.
And remember, all these, aside from the most recent runner, are all accounts for Gross too. So if they score, her totals will go up, as you see a
And
wild
this
pitch.
one is a wild pitch that is way off the target, past Young. So there's going to be another score right here. This was Nelson, second baseman, who scores. So 2 balls, no strike, and 1 out. Excuse me, I correct myself. I previously said no outs. There is 1 out. Allie Snyder. And now here's Doherty, the lefty, to Snyder, the shortstop. Corner infielders in. Aggressively a swing past the home dugout. The Larkin maybe got in there. 2 balls and a strike. And whatever you want to say about Hannah Gross, she was very gutsy tonight. So far, though, Kelly Doherty, she's missing her targets, and by quite a bit of a distance. So it's 2-1 to Snyder, and Snyder offers this one on her knees, a sliding, very overhand, slow throw. As a grounder, forces home a run. So on a fielder's choice, we believe that she is out. Yes, indeed, Snyder is out. Very great play right there by Williams, the third baseman. She got down on both knees. Made a two-handed play right there with her glove, and a very slow throw to Urbanic. But nonetheless, that is an out, and it should be 2 outs in the inning. Here is Melissa Esparza, who started this whole thing with a solo homer to lead off the inning. Here it is, Doherty to Esparza, 2 balls and no strikes. That was down low. It is now 13-3, which means the slaughter rule is in play if Larkin does not score in the bottom of the 6th.
Sadly, that is the case.
And Doherty deals to Esparza, who lines this one way foul towards the left field foul line. 2 balls and a strike.
Kelly Doherty just doesn't seem to have any kind of control. I imagine it's to be very tough coming in, cold on the cold, her body temperature cold on the cold night, in such a route. It's got to be difficult, and she's obviously showing that on the mound right now.
So runner on third base, 3 balls, 1 strike to Esparza. Here's Doherty, and Esparza, and running over towards it very nicely, very trotting towards the home dugout was the catcher Young, and so that's going to retire the side. We're going to the bottom of the 6th, 13-3 Hampshire. All right, Larkin is down to her final 3 outs. On the bottom is 6. Corey Stoles and back. Christopher Simon, Ballpark at Rosemont. Slaughter rules in play, 13-3. Hampshire couldn't win it here in the 6th inning. You have Sophie Young, the catcher for Larkin. There's a mound conference right now, and Christopher, even though it's not the story of the game, gotta really admire the way Sophie Young has come out hustling out both sides of the Bears box to make some tough outs on some pop flies against the Hampshire batters.
It's been very impressive on her part. Her defensive efforts and her aggressive, if maybe not fruitful displays at the plate, definitely shows her leadership for this team. And she caught, obviously, Hannah Gross that entire time, trying to and stopping a lot of wild pitches, past balls in the dirt. One of the better players for this Larkin team. Just the opportunity here to come and play at a fun ballpark, at a fun venue like the ballpark at Rosemont for this Larkin team. It just wasn't enough to kickstart them into something, productive on the field.
And she steps in against Lopez, looking for the complete game. Well, not complete game, but I guess the 6th inning. There's no pitching change, but a strike 1. 0-1 to Young. And now a wheel and a deal by Lopez. That is high and away. Ball and a strike. Even count at 1. No outs here. 13-3 Hampshire. Lopez delivers and swings right through that one. A ball and a strike to Young. So 13 runs, 13 hits, 3 errors for Hampshire. 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 error for Larkin. And the Whippers pitcher looking to close this one out as Young takes time, steps out of the Bears box, collects her thoughts for a brief second, now steps back in. Here's Lopez, the pitch, 1-2. That is high and up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Infield depth is in, corner infielders, and here is a swing but line foul towards the left field line by Young. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, and we'll go again.
So far, as we near the hope, possibly the end of this game, 5 strikeouts for Lopez. She was pretty dominant just about all the way through. I guess we said a couple lapses, but overall very well done.
It's got to be a fly ball to center field, taking a few steps to her left, but under that, though, is the center fielder Bowen, and that is 1 out right there. So now here is Carissa Williams, the 3rd baseman. Larkin is down to its last 2 outs. So yeah, Bowen took many steps to her left, but she was under it. That was a nice fly ball to center field. Good contact, but not enough. So swinging right through it on the first pitch is Williams, 0-1. Lopez looking for her 6th strikeout.
And she blew that pitch right past.
There's Lopez dealing once again. That is inside. Well, it's called a strike, so I guess rather in, may have just grazed the plate, if you will. So no balls and 2 strikes. Lopez deals, and this is going to be fouled, so staying alive. That is high off the net behind home plate. Fouling it off as Williams. She stays alive, 0-2. And I talked to a pitching coach that I used to work with, and he says the only time you have a right to try to strike someone out is when it's 0-2. So let's see if Lopez goes for a strikeout and tries to get number 6 right here for the half dozen K. And here she goes right here, and that is way off the plate. Had to make a slide to her right to try to catch that one as Lapie, but she could afford that with no one on base. Lopez delivering, and that is down low. Blocked by Lopez in the dirt, 2-2. Williams with a white helmet on, a dark black hoodie. And there she goes, taking a pitch. Full count up from Lopez. So 3 balls, 2 strikes to Carissa Williams. And forget about trying to come back here. Right now you're just trying to score a run to stave off being down and out, and swing and a miss. There's the half dozen strikeout to stave off the slaughter rule, but looks like now with Megan Chu Wee stepping in. You got to push a run across the board here or it's over. And that is strike one taking is Chu Wee. So, you know, you got a 10-run deficit to erase, but now you just want to push one run across the board to have 3 more outs to work with. And Chu Wee swings right through this one, 0-2. Larkin down to their final strike.
Just a tough day here for Larkin. And again, as we said, Lopez really hasn't slowed down, and she's trying to cruise through right here.
Well, here she goes. Here's the pitch, and moving away towards it inside was Chu Wee, so that was ball 1. That was a bit up and in. She had to take a few feet back to make sure she wasn't hit. Here's Lopez once again, and she fouls this one off. Got a piece of the bat against the home plate wall, so still 1-2.
Lopez definitely coming hard here, trying to get that final out.
On deck just in case is Alonso. Here's Lopez looking to end it right here, and looks like she will. Here is a ground ball right there to the shortstop, that being Snyder, with a 6-3 slaughter rule to Lauren Egger, and that's going to do it for this one. Game 1 of our doubleheader. The final score, Hampshire, 13 runs, 13 hits, 3 errors. Larkin, 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 error. The pitcher of record, Jasmine Lopez, gets the win. Hannah Gross is saddled with a loss, and we will be back in many moments. Coming up in a while now will be Evanston versus St. Ignatius. You are listening to Friday Night Lights at the Ballpark at Rosemont.